Alright, welcome to the Grob Chess Club, grob.tu.com, where we are continuing our lecture series on moving up to Class E, but instead of a lecture today, we're just going to have a practical example, a game between two of my students who are about the rating level that you should be now, and maybe by seeing some of their mistakes and some of their ideas, you can pick up on some things and improve your own game. So, let's begin. Ross played d4, Cameron played d5, now knight f3, and now Cameron plays knight c6. And I don't like knight c6. It's not a bad move, but the point of why I don't like it is because usually in queen pawn openings you want to move your c pawn at some time, and now for black to be able to do that, he's going to have to move his knight again. Usually something to do would be like, instead of knight c6, like knight f6 and then c4 and then c6 to defend, and then now maybe move your knight, instead of to c6, move it to like d7 to defend your knight on f6. So, or maybe another idea is if if e6 is played, then maybe c5 after that, and then you can move your knight to c6 if you want to. But the point is that you want to use that c pawn to attack at the center. But there's nothing wrong with knight e6. It controls the center, and that's what we've been talking about. So e3 is played, preparing to play c4 right away. Now knight f6, bishop b5, bishop d7 to unpin the knight, castle. And now e5, which is a mistake. The reason it's a mistake is it's a good move because it attacks at the center, but it's a bad move because it drops a pawn. And it drops a pawn if white plays bishop takes c6, then you're going to have to take back, and now just knight takes e5. And the pawn's not defended. It was defended by the knight on c6, but since we got rid of that knight, then it's undefended. And that's what we've been talking about with tactics. Finding ways to win pawns based on calculating things. So that would have been good for white. But instead, he actually missed bishop takes c6. Instead, he plays d takes e5, and d takes e5 isn't as good because then black has the option to play knight takes e5. This is the best move. The reason you might be saying, well, that knight's hanging, but if he takes that knight, then you get his bishop, and things are equal. You're attacking his rook on f1, and black's probably actually better here. So you don't have to see all these things. I realize if you're only rated 600 to 700, you're not going to be able to see everything on the board. But I'm just trying to show you the best moves on the board so you can pick up on the principles. E5 was good because it attacks at the center, but bad because of tactics. So d takes e5, and now black makes another mistake and he plays knight e4. The reason knight to e4 is bad is because another tactic. His d pawn is undefended. And then white just played queen takes d5, and now white has two extra pawns. Black's gonna have to move his knight again, and there's no, he has nothing for it, so he's just gonna be down two pawns, and white's gonna have a better game. But actually, white missed that move again, and he played knight to c3. So we continue, and now black plays knight to e7, and now white has another opportunity to get ahead. He could play something like bishop takes d7, queen takes d7. Knight takes e4, he has to take back. Now with queen, the king has to take back. And then now after something like knight g5, we're threatening to take on f7 and take on e4, so it's actually going to be a pawn ahead. And again, I don't expect you to see all of the stuff as a 600 to 700 player, but just seeing some of the ideas of this game might help you out. But again, white misses some things, and he plays knight e4, which is a mistake. A finer point here I want to point out is that Cameron was a higher rated player in this game, black was, and his moves e5 and knight e4 were aimed at complicating things. And he wants to complicate things because he is the higher rated player, and he should be able to handle complicated positions better than the lower rated player. So if you're in a game against a lower rated player, maybe complicating things and getting things uneven will be your best bet. So after knight takes e4, things do work out for black because now he has this excellent move, bishop takes b5. Bishop takes b5 is a good move because it attacks the rook on f1, and as we know, bishops are worth less than rooks, so if we can trade it, that'd be a great thing for us. So we're attacking that rook on f1, and then we're also attacking the knight on e4. And there's no way for white to defend both of them at once, so he's going to have to lose some material. So in this position, white plays knight to c5. And of course, we've been talking about the value of the pieces, and we even said this, so now black can just take the rook on f1. And now we're ahead some material. We got 5 points for our 3-point bishop. But instead of taking back, white in this position, he should just take the bishop back, and then, he's down a little material, but things are fine. But instead of taking back, he gets greedy and plays knight takes b7. And the problem with this is that black has a move queen b8, and now white's not going to be able to do everything that he wants. Ideally, white would like to take that bishop on f1. He would have liked to take that knight or the pawn on b7 and get his knight to safety, but now he just doesn't have enough moves to get everything done. So after his move knight c5 protecting his knight, black's going to be able to either move his bishop to safety, or he has this better move, queen to b5, which is played by Cameron. The reason queen b5 is such a good move is because it protects that bishop on f1, so he's safe now. And also we're attacking that knight on c5. So we're doing everything right here. Black's playing very well. He wasn't so sharp in the opening, but things are working out. So white's option that he went for is queen d4, protecting that knight. But after knight f5, white finds that he doesn't have very many spaces for his queen to go. He's attacked, and now we also notice that this bishop on f8 and my queen are both attacking this knight. So all sorts of things are happening for black now. He's just ripping it at white. So knight f5, the queen has to move, so he plays queen takes d5. And now, if black had played correctly, rook to d8, we notice that the queen has to move again. So if like queen to b3, well, first of all, we could just take that knight on c5 if we wanted. But even better would be some rook to d1, because now if he takes our queen, we attack with the bishop, and it's check. Our rook on d1 is putting him in check, and the only move he has now is knight e1, and then after rook takes, it's checkmate. So we see here that white's actually in a lot of trouble. He's threatened to lose pieces, and he's almost going to get mated. But instead of rook to d8, black actually makes a mistake here. He has the right idea to keep harassing the queen to make moves with tempo, but he misses that his rook on a8 is hanging. So bishop c4 to attack the queen, and then now queen takes a8, and now black has lost a rook. This is all very bad. So king to e7, and now white moves his knight to safety, knight e4. Black plays bishop to d5, which is a good move because he's attacking the queen and he's attacking the knight, and it looks like white's going to have to lose some material, but he doesn't have to lose material. Actually, if plays like knight c3, then after bishop takes a8, then queen rated, and white's better here, but maybe black has some drawing chances or something. But that's a very hard move to find, the knight c3. So instead, white plays queen takes a7, just taking another pawn, and now black's just going to take that free knight. White plays queen takes c7, check. The king's going to have to move, king to e8. And now white plays bishop to d2, trying to get some more pieces into the attack, and now we find that black's the one in a lot of trouble. It all comes down to black missing that his rook was hanging, because before we noticed that black was attacking and he had all the chances, but now it's white's who controlling the game. So, alright, so queen to e2 is played. It's a decent move because you are threatening to attack that. Like, if nothing happens, we could play bishop takes f3, g takes f3, queen takes f3, and then we've won a pawn. Maybe some things are going to happen for us. But here, white actually has a fourth win. He plays knight to g5, so now he's got two pieces attacking on f7. And I don't know what happened to black, but it looks like he just missed it. He plays a decent move here. He plays queen to g4, very tactical move, because now he's threatening to take that knight for free, and he's also threatening checkmate. See if like if white does nothing here, he plays like h4 to protect his knight, then we have checkmate, and then all the things, the tides have turned, and black's on top. But the reason that it doesn't work, even though we're attacking two pieces at once, black fails to see that he's the one in trouble here. And now after queen takes f7, the king has to move. Knight to e6 by white. The king only has one space to move. Now checkmate. So now maybe you see some of the ideas that might help you out. You got to make sure that your pieces aren't hanging, and you got to keep moving with ideas at the center and looking for tactics all the time for you and for your opponent. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Congratulations to my students. They did very well in the year. I hope you join us next time, and that's it. Thank you.